Okay, I am recording, just so you know.
Oh,
Um,
Good.
Shnikes, I have to change my language.
so,
Fuck that.
so it's been a few weeks since a number of the more senior members of the big team departed on a trans-dimensional trip to the dimension of Avalon. And though they aren't really expected back just quite yet, you can still kind of, if you've been to the big team base in the meantime, I think you can still kind of feel a weird kind of energy where the people that are there can't help but realize that the last time something like this happened, the people that came back weren't doing so great. And there's just been a general sense of worry. And well, despite that, things have still been going on, been continuing normally. Now, you're all currently, and I'd like to mention that for the record, this game is in game time happening sort of last week because it's happening at the same time that Avalon stuff is happening. So the Avalon people are not back yet. But you are currently all gathered in in what sort of is like a faraway supply closet in the big team base. It's kind of out of the way. It's long past all of the hallways that anyone actually usually goes through. It's pretty far away from the all of the different rooms that are used. It isn't even close to the infirmary or anything, and there's a bunch of those like generic sci-fi boxes and crates everywhere where you're like, what's even in these? Who cares? They're here. And you're all here because yesterday you all got an email from the official big team email account that gets used to inform all of the members of things that are going on, just like general housekeeping things. So it seemed like a pretty routine email, but then when you opened it, it actually had a little thing at the bottom that was hidden in the routine email, like as part of like a signature that said, I have an idea, and if you would all please help me with it, you can gather at this particular room at this time. Signed, Gaia. So.
Oh.
You've all arrived at this single room. It seems to be empty so far, but I assume you all arrived more or less at the same time, or maybe one of you is already there. And
I'll already be there.
okay.
I was in here
If there
catching
was-
up with the vacuum that lives here.
Yeah, I think the email that was sent to you, Lula, wasn't hairpin wasn't even like an actual email. It was just like some sort of weird robot thing, like it was hidden in the patch notes for an update for a program that AIs use or something. And
Yeah.
I think yours,
That program is Instagram.
and yours just said like, hey, I'd like one of us there so that all of these, I love all these fleshy people, but they're really silly sometimes, so it'd be nice if there was someone sensible here.
Can you look out for the squishies for me?
Yes.
That would be nice. Unfortunately, they're getting hairpin.
Yes. So, yeah, you're all gathered in this room, and so far it's empty. Apart from some sci-fi crates.
Mm-hmm.
I think whenever Rhiannon first like sees the group, like her face lights up in a smile because she's met all of them, but it's been a while since she really saw any of them. And I think she goes up to Minnie first. Is Minnie like standing on the floor or is she floating? I know sometimes she does either.
I think right now she's probably sitting on one of these crates.
Okay, well, Rhiannon's just like, Minnie, it's so good to see you, and she'll like rush forward, like arms outstretched, like she's giving you a hug.
Yeah, Minnie would definitely.
Would she know in advance whether Minnie doesn't like to be picked up?
I don't think anyone has tried aside from Jamie. She doesn't mind when Jamie does it.
Well, if it's not established, she's not gonna like do the ragdoll thing. But
I mean, she's not going to cut Rhiannon. Rhiannon's fine.
I know, but Rhiannon tries to be considerate. So yes, she'll just go for a regular like bundled up hug.
Yeah, Minnie definitely hugs Rhiannon back, but there's definitely a big difference in like energy from the last time Rhiannon saw Minnie. Things have Minnie's seen some shit.
Yeah, no, that's fair, and it's like Rhiannon's changed a little bit too, but like Minnie's been through enough shit that I'm not sure like she would catch that difference, which is totally fair. But yeah, so she's just it's been too long, and she probably like kind of like does like brushes some hair out of the face or whatever. It's like, I'm sorry I haven't been around more to help. How are you?
I'm here. Don't worry about not being around. I mean, I know you had stuff to do. It was important. I'm glad you're back, and you seem to be all right. That's what matters.
More or less, anyway.
Speaking of things to do... Oh, sorry.
Huh? Oh, no, go ahead.
Speaking of things to do, does anyone know why we're here?
No, really.
Yeah, we're here to keep an eye on the meat people. Wait.
Rin tilts her head at Luma. I mean, at her.
I mean,
like, hmm?
I don't know why we're here.
Yeah, fucking mood.
And as you say that, in the corner of the room, what appeared to just be like a panel on the wall kind of opens up to reveal what seems to be some sort of utility door, and out of it drives a little drone. It's approximately the size of a small dog. It's just kind of like a cube with a few like arms that can rotate and do stuff on some wheels, and it drives out some beep 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 and turns and out of the top of it a hologram of a face appears. I think I can enlighten you. And it's Gaia's face. Thank you all for coming.
Oh, hello, Gaia.
Hey. Rhiannon, I'm glad you could make it. I am a little worried. And, well, I have had petitioned Godspeed to allow me to do anything. I thought maybe using some of the League's resources, I might be able to send some people after them. But unfortunately, my request was denied. So, and the hologram smiles. Instead, I thought maybe I could go around that. Would you be willing?
Sorry, I missed something in the middle of that. Petition Godspeed, and then there was something I missed, and then so I thought you could go around that.
Petition. They say I had petitioned Godspeed to lend me some of the League's materials, and I thought maybe using those we could send some people after them. But unfortunately, my request was denied. So instead, rather than do it officially, here you are.
Okay.
Would you be willing to help me?
Damn right we will.
Okay.
I think Rhiannon like raises an eyebrow, but like has like a little bit of a smile, like, Gaia, I didn't know you liked to go around the rules.
Well, Godspeed's opinion on this might be different, but as far as I am concerned, I serve the big team, not the League of Heroes. So,
Fucking A.
if you would follow me, I do apologize beforehand. The space you're about to enter is not really built for people, but it's the best way to keep it out of sight. And
Of course.
the robot turns around and goes into the door.
I think Minnie is the first to follow behind Gaia.
I was gonna say a tiny little white fox jumps off of Rhiannon's shoulder and hops onto the Gaia drone to ride it.
I think there's a significant amount of time that Grace waits as looking both ways, debating a long period of time if this is the correct decision, and then going ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, as you enter, you basically find yourself in this weird maze of just corridors and corridors and spaces that appear to have either no purpose or too many purposes at once. It's like everything is stuffed to the brim with machinery and cables and pipes, and just it's like you're seeing under the trunk of the base, pretty much. The robot just deftly maneuvers on its little wheels through a bunch of these corridors, over a bunch of pipes and under some cables and past a whole set of machines that you don't even know what they do. And eventually, once you, you're in these hallways, and the robot turns around a corner. As you turn around the corner as well, you find yourself in a room that seems to be quite a bit larger. It might be some sort of nexus. You see a whole bunch of these corridors converging over here, and it seems like whatever machinery was over here has been cleared out, and instead, in the middle of the room is something. It appears to be kind of like a weird large disc, like a like some sort of like sci-fi illustrator's idea of a cobbled together gateway, and there's a whole bunch of cables going around and attached to this semicircle that all attach in the middle of the semicircle to a single small rook, like a chess rook. And the robot goes to a corner, and a very, very, very tiny, like, doggy door-esque thing opens up, and the robot goes in it and disappears.
Fox jumps off.
And then a couple seconds later, out of this, like a hole opens up in the ceiling, and down from the ceiling, a actual robot version, like humanoid robot version of Gaia, comes down. Yeah, here we are.
So, what exactly did you have in mind?
I can't send you through the portal that Elle and the others used. Apart from the fact that it is in England, it is also not accessible to me. I don't have any magic, and I don't believe that I would be capable of opening it. But I've been doing a lot of research, and they like raise a hand, and a whole bunch of holograms appear around the entire room with just... It looks as if Gaia went on a deep dive through Wikipedia and then went on to a deep dive through a couple thousand other Wikipedias. And there's a whole bunch of, like, there's everything from alien technology to magical circles. And they kind of sigh and say, I think I might have found a way to send some people after them.
Fascinating. I may want to talk to you later. I've actually been looking for a way to open some passages too, so... But that's for another time.
I do have one question. Aside from whether you all would be willing to do this for me, I know it is perhaps difficult to... It is perhaps a bit much of me to ask for you to keep this secret from Godspeed, but I have spent some time in the last month developing a part of my memory that can be stored in my personality subroutines rather than in my actual memory banks, simply because I am uncertain whether the League actually has access to my memory, and I would rather they can't access everything. It's taken a lot of time and effort, and I think I might have broken a few things in some parts of the base doing so, but I have managed, and I'd rather not those efforts go wasted now.
Gaia, even if you didn't ask us to keep this a secret from Godspeed, I would fucking keep it a secret from Godspeed.
What's that thing people say? What they don't know can't hurt them?
Who's Godspeed?
Is that an out of character question?
No, that was an in-character question.
Okay.
Hairpin has met Godspeed, by the way.
Yes, you have.
Hairpin has had multiple conversations with
Wait.
Godspeed.
Rita looks over with surprise and confusion.
Never mind, I found it. He's in the wiki.
Miss Matter? It would mean a lot to me personally.
All right. I cannot promise to not file a report on this to Godspeed himself, but I will promise to leave out all the important bits and pieces about your personal information sections of this data.
Oh, If you're filing a report, I don't think I have to worry. All of those reports go through me anyway.
Why is it do you think you need to file a report, Miss Matter? This isn't a big team mission.
If I'm going to maintain myself as to be second in command of the big team, then I have to absolutely maintain and toe the policy line here.
Rhiannon raises an eyebrow, totally unaware of Miss Matter being second in command in anything, but
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes it is important to compartmentalize. I know that I have a bit of an advantage in this, considering that I am a program, but it is not entirely untrue to think of human beings as such as well. And the human mind has the ability to stuff various things in various boxes and be different people in different situations, just as much as artificial intelligences do. I do believe you would know that better than most.
Yeah, absolutely she would. Very well. I see what you're leading at, and I do agree that it would be very difficult for me in order to maintain this knowledge all of a. If I do not know about it, then I can definitely not deal with it if I was not involved. If you'll excuse me.
For the record, am I speaking to Sandy or Grace right now?
You're speaking with Grace. I will be right back.
I was about to ask.
I won't be right back. Just wait here. Walks out of the room. Walks back in. Hi!
Hello, Sandy. It is very nice for you to be able to join us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I got a note.
Shame that Grace cannot be with us right now, and will not know anything about what we are about to do.
That's exactly what the note here says. That she's absolutely nothing that she will know about it. Like, I think this idea is awesome. I was also told to destroy this in some sort of way. Can someone handle that for me?
The note? Oh, yes. Deposit it in that bin over there, on the right. It's number E37C.
Right. Finds E37C.
It's just like a little bin in a wall. You put it in there, and just a flamethrower goes out and burns it.
Whoosh.
Thank you. I don't really know why that's there.
Alright, well, if everyone's settled.
Yes. I must warn you, this is somewhat cobbled together from whatever bits and pieces I could requisition from various parts of the base without raising too much suspicion. So it might be a little unstable. That is, apart from the obvious, one of the reasons why I requested your presence, Rhiannon. I think out of all the people in the big team currently, you stand the best chance of being able to make it back in case something goes wrong.
I'll certainly do my best if it comes to that. I mean, and if we're going to find them anyway, if nothing else, we can probably hitch a ride back the same way they do.
They smile. Good. All right then. If you would not mind standing in a circle around the rook and touching it, I will be doing some things. I could explain them, but it would take a while.
So hand right here on the spot with a handprint on it.
On the rook, please. The handprint is... I should actually remove that if I were to make this a more long-term thing. The handprint is because it was originally... That part was originally part of a fingerprint scanner that allowed Godspeed access to his personal storage compartment, but I did take that.
Rihanna goes and puts her hand on the rook.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Minnie walks up to it and affectionately pats the cobbled together device. She just sort of grins.
A little unstable. Fucking mood. Let's do this.
Okay. So, yeah.
So sorry.
It's fine. You all stand in the circle and touch this rook, and as you do so, the Gaia robot disappears back into the ceiling, and there's just Gaia's voice coming from one of the speakers that's just like, "Don't worry, I am still here." And a whole bunch of robotic arms come out of various parts of the room and just start manipulating all sorts of things. At a certain point during the process, you're fairly certain that a whole part of the construction actually gets removed and then added onto a different part of the construction and then activated again and then removed again and then added back onto the original part of the construction and then activated again. And yeah, there's the semicircle starts moving and then splits into two, and that starts moving, and those split into four, and that starts moving, and eventually you find yourself in the center of this almost... Have you ever seen those things that are like models of the universe or models of the solar system that are just like those circles that are constantly circling each other? And yes, you are in something of an orrery, but it is a cobbled together sci-fi orrery that starts spinning faster and faster around you. And the rook in the center, which seems to be made of some sort of horn, it's very old, starts vibrating and glowing, and cracks start appearing in it, and soon it seems like it starts to break, and the moment it breaks, you get teleported. So, the room and the orrery disappears, and for a minute, you seem to find yourself in no space at all. There's just... It's not even like there's black around you, or there's just an absence of color. At sometimes you feel like it's white, and at sometimes you feel like it's black, and then it suddenly seems to be glaring again, and you're not certain if there's something moving in the endless space. You know that you're all there, but you don't see or feel any bodies. You know that your friends are around you, but you don't see or feel any of their bodies around them either. Then, eventually, the things that you feel around you, just in the space, start to rotate as well, much like the orrery did. And images appear. You see a planet much like Earth, but somehow also not. The continents mimic the general shape of Earth, but there are differences. There seems to be some sort of floating continent to the far west. The ice to the north goes up so far that it almost touches what appears to be the moon. And in the very center, where you would normally expect England to be, is a series of islands. Also sort of in the shape of the United Kingdom, but not quite. That are verdant and yet among all of the forests and the mountains there are just swaths and swaths of mist going around. And then without even having accelerated or zoomed in, suddenly you find yourself in one of those mists. And the mist dissipates, and you're at the edge of a forest, overlooking a field that is half rocky outcroppings and half golden grass. And in the distance, you see a small town surrounding a castle.
Are we in the past?
I think this is like totally Avalon.
Totally what? Avalon?
Avalon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I guess. Quick question. Rhiannon did visit as a child. Like, it's been a long time, but does she recognize a castle or?
Nope.
Okay.
It also, now that you look at it and the initial moment of awe from the teleportation has passed, you notice that it's quite a small castle, and and if you were to think this to be Camelot, the village around it has maybe 20 houses, and they don't look to be very rich. So, yeah, it's probably definitely not Camelot.
Yeah, it's one of those like, okay, I know when you're a kid you see things more majestic than they are, but I'm pretty sure the difference can be this big. Well, I think we are all in Avalon, but that's not Camelot.
It's okay.
So is that where all the stuff is?
Stuff?
I thought we were robbing the League of Heroes. Did I misunderstand something?
We can do that when we get home.
Probably shouldn't. And we're actually here to check on Elle and Gwen and Harold and Lily.
So, like, I think our goal here is to bring back Elle, bring back Gwen, and like find I'm trying to think if she would actually know her name. His name Custard, and like Lily, just like bring them back home. Amon, Amon, and be like, and get them back home so that everybody's like safe and like not in the midst of like super danger. And you know,
back up.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if that's not Camelot, then like we need to like find Camelot. Maybe they have like directions or something.
Maybe I could just fly up really high and then look around.
Oh yeah, that'd be helpful.
Okay.
Did Hairpin immediately take off?
Are you going to fly up and check around?
Yeah, I will. I'll assess the situation. I forget what I forget what the move is called in this game. So.
Okay.
Such a
No, it's
situation.
that.
It's back to assess the situation.
You.
Yay.
How does Hairpin fly?
Hairpin transforms into a heart-shaped pink spaceship and flies up into the sky.
It's her Kirby
And then-
craft herself.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
Okay. So you fly up, and you turn into this big heart that appears entirely out of place in this weird mystical fantasy land. And you fly up and up, and as you fly up past the clouds, there's there's a bunch of birds that fly up just in raw panic, and at one point you're fairly certain that as you pass through a cloud, you think part of the cloud actually like looks back at you and opens an eye and has a bit of a what the fuck expression, and then just closes its eye again. And as you pass through the cloud, you see that cloud pick up and try to decide to move somewhere else, where there aren't weird heart-shaped things.
Puppy.
And eventually you make it up high and past the clouds, and as you look around, roll assess the situation.
Yay, okay.
Rand's looking up like, well. Ooh.
To those of you looking up, it looks like the cloud suddenly kind of like grew a tail, and it's sort of like a weird cloud version of a whale that decided to swim away.
Oh, that's excellent.
Okay, so what are your options that you want to pick?
Okay. I should turn on the light so I can actually see my basic moves. Let's see. What here can I use to find Camelot? And or how could we best end? Maybe this is how can we best end this quickly?
So, you look around.
Uh-huh.
To the west, a couple leagues to the west, you see the ocean, just endless ocean. Actually, in the far distance, you see something crash out of the ocean and go back in, and though it looked like a small fish to you, considering the distance, it's probably pretty big. To the south, more or less the same, except it's forest. A large forest extends out from where you were, from right below where you are right now, the edge of the forest where you landed. And though at the start it seems to be a regular forest, there's even some signs of logging, and you see a little bit away a small hamlet that might be a hunting village. A little distance away, the trees grow very, very large, and some of them you aren't actually sure if they're trees or buildings. To the east, seas and seas of golden grass. In the very distance, you see a few lakes, something that might be some more towns, and all the way out there, to the point that you're not certain whether you're actually seeing it, and it might just be some sort of vision from the curvature of the earth. You see a forest that seems to be made of silver, and some sort of strange dark cloud hanging over it. And, well, it's very far away. As you look down, though, you notice that the castle and the village appears to be in something of an uproar. You see a couple of the peasants in the that were in the field are yelling and pointing up at you, and a few of them have started running off towards the castle.
No, don't run away. I'm friendly. I promise.
Voice from the sky. And yeah, as for what hair can I use to find Camelot, those people probably know something.
Okay. Great. I'll follow up on that. I fly after them in the least threatening way possible, which is still
Oh my
pretty threatening.
god! So, to the rest of you on the ground, you notice Hairpin's spaceship form fly up, a cloud whale fly away, and then a while later you hear some incredibly distant cries of panic, and then a booming
Y'all
voice.
can also be on board, by the way.
No, it's
that
okay.
would-
We
Okay.
didn't determine that in advance, and there are ways for us to catch up to you. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, if they're running away, I guess I'll. All right, I'll go get people because
This amuses me
if
so
we're
much
making new
more.
friends, then everybody else should also have an opportunity to make new friends. So
The booming voice of Hairpin saying, "No, come back, I promise I'm a friend," is still there. And you see the panic of these people. There are more panicked screams in the distance that you can actually hear more easily now, running towards the castle. And a couple seconds later, you actually hear the ringing of a bell coming from one of the castle towers.
oh, that's nice. They must be happy to see me.
We should go after her. Like Rhiannon's wings manifest and sweep out, and she looks to Minnie and it's like, "Can you still
Can I still what?
fly?"
I can fly again, yeah. But considering flying caused that reaction, maybe we should just walk.
I'm concerned about the reaction when Lula gets there first.
That's fair.
Uh,
I said Lula. God damn it! I'm so used to calling you Lula now. I never gonna play with you.
I can't fly. I could use some help, or else I'll be there very late.
No, it's not a problem. Caden? She looks at the tiny fox on her shoulder and gives a nod towards Miss Matter, and the tiny fox jumps down to the ground and looks up at Miss Matter for a second, and then just morphs into a big fox.
Flop. Oh my god. Yikes. You're really soft and really fluffy. Okay. But can you, let me up. Thanks.
He wasn't on top of you, he was in front of you looking up, and then suddenly he's bigger than you.
Gotcha. Okay. Alright. Well,
It's
are you
alright,
my right?
Get on.
You know, for once, it's nice to not be the one drawing all the attention.
Yeah, the fox tilts its head inquisitively at Miss Matter and turns to the side and then looks back at her expectantly.
Alright. Do I just climb? Grab fur on the side.
Rhiannon gives Sandy a boost.
Thank you.
Alright, let's go. And she starts flying towards Lula. Probably closer to the ground, not making us into a fleet of terrifying monsters.
Okay. Happen with your 13 superior roll earlier, you definitely notice first off that your friends are following you. Secondly, you also feel like you might catch a glimpse of some movement in the trees behind them as they leave, but you're not quite certain.
Oh, okay. I'll spend a question on what's that?
That's not a question that is
That's
there.
not on the list.
Nope.
All right. What here is the biggest threat?
What here is the biggest threat? What here is the biggest
besides me?
What here is the biggest threat is definitely the ballista that the people in the castle are rolling out to aim at you.
Oh, okay.
The best way to make an entrance. Oh my god.
Cool. All right, ballista. Rates. I'll save my last question and probably forget it, but I'll save it.
If the situation changes a lot, like in a completely different scene, I would ask you to roll again, just so you know.
That would be fine.
Also,
but
you only
yeah,
get 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I get 2?
Yes.
Oh, okay, never
Unless
mind.
you have a thing.
All right. I was thinking of a different game. Okay. I attempt to friend the ballista on Instagram. That doesn't work.
It's weird. It's weird. Instagram doesn't respond. It's almost like it's not there.
I feel uncomfortable.
And just as a reflex, you try some other apps. They're all not there either.
What could be the cause of that? Just spent a question on that.
It's almost
This
like,
is so mysterious.
It's almost like the entire internet is gone.
All right, well, I'll charge up my powers, but someone else should probably do something before I ruin things.
Okay, so you will make your way towards to the castle. As you pass the fields, you notice that the fields that were previously worked are now abandoned, and you actually see some like equipment and some hose and even a bull like still attached to the thing that it was pulling, entirely abandoned. And as you pass some of the cottages, you notice some people peeking out from windows at you and then closing the windows very quickly. And you get closer to the castle, and you can see the ballista that is currently in the process of being loaded, but it does appear to be going very slowly. And as you get closer to them, you see why. Instead of what you would expect to be a bunch of a full contingent of guards, you see some people in definitely guard uniforms and armor, but they're a mixture of old men and very young people, and definitely servants that are even still wearing their aprons, that just have like a helmet and a sword quickly pulled out. It doesn't appear that there's much of an actual military here, and the person who is loading the ballista doesn't seem to really know what they're doing.
Oh.
They're just panicked.
Also, goddammit, Halo. I tap back over to see that bullshit. Can Rhiannon like fly fast enough to get? I assume that was a misclick. To get
What?
like.
Oh no, I was charging up my powers.
Charging up what powers?
Burn.
Oh, burn is plus conditions. Do you not have any conditions?
I do not have any conditions because it's been like 2 months.
Oh no.
Rip.
You'll have to remind me how that works.
I still get some burn, but I have to mark 3 conditions.
Yep.
Okay, well, guilty
And
will
potential.
have to be one of those.
Probably. Also, I think I feel hopeless because I don't have access to the internet.
We all feel that way sometimes.
Hairpin is a real girl.
Can Rhiannon just fly fast enough to like get between Hairpin and the ballista?
Sure, roll savior.
Huh? Oh.
I'm not 100% on how the ballista is going to hit us, but
I mean, it probably
Really hard.
won't, but
well, like, I guess they could like put it on a ramp. Or get everybody to like hold it up and like point it like just straight up.
well, I mean, I assume it's on the wall, and we're approaching from outside.
It does
the wall,
actually.
so
It's attached to the wall, and it appears to be on like a wooden mechanism that allows it to be tilted upwards.
Oh, that's impressive. Should go have a look at it.
It is the only siege weapon that this castle has, and it also looks pretty old.
It's trying its best.
But yeah, so Rhiannon like just rushes in between and just like puts out her arms and is just like, "Please don't. We're not here to hurt you. We're just lost."
You, the people that you're saying this to still look pretty scared at the moment that a very clearly magical girl with wings appears and goes in there. A bunch of them also run off screaming and go into various other buildings. You see someone dive into the stables and hide under a pile of hay. And a few of them stand their guard, and one of them goes, "Lost? How could you be lost?
Well,
Who are you?"
we're not from here. We're looking for Camelot. Can you just point us the right way?
Camelot? You're nowhere near Camelot. Oh, this is. Please leave. I will shoot this. I will shoot you with a ballista. I think this is a ballista. If you do not leave. And that's this person is still wearing an apron. Pretty obviously has some grease stains on it. Has a meat cleaver just in one hand. And is pointing at you with the other. Probably the cook. Eventually gets pushed away by a tall woman in a very long, rather luxurious green brocade dress and a lot of jewelry, who just kind of callously pushes the cook out of the way and says, "Ah, you've arrived! Welcome! Please, forgive my servants' distress. They obviously don't know how to recognize when their saviors have arrived. And please bring down your chariot and we will stable it, and I can make you some food. Do come in.
Rhiannon looks back at. I'm assuming we've all cut up by now, and is just like confused. Should we go in?
Okay, that sounds like fun.
Well,
I
if
think
this
we're
is,
obligated to at this point.
and if we're like nowhere near Camelot, we should like find out how to get there.
Yeah.
I land and
we
transform
go.
back.
Oh, marvelous. Of course you would be able to do that. I should never have doubted the abilities of... You must be divine messengers of some sort to be able to have answered my prayers so quickly. Please do come in. And she half runs, but with her how long her dress is, which is, by the way, entirely like it has a long train that is getting utterly befouled by the mud in this courtyard.
Oh no!
She's just kind of floating into the entrance of the castle.
So, who sent ahead the notice that we're the saviors?
I think that's just an assumption she's making.
She seems really excited about it. Let's just not contradict her and pretend that whatever she said is true.
Okay, but as long as there's like a really big feast in there, and like we could totally get some of that, because honestly, whatever that was made me like really hungry.
Well, I mean, if
Okay.
they need our help, then we should at least listen.
Okay. Do you go inside?
Yep. Caden waits for Miss Matter to hop off, and then just like kind of like cartoon, like almost like in like a puff of smoke, turns back into the tiny version and like just bounds up to Rihanna's shoulder and hides in her hair. And yeah, I'll walk in. Sure.
Okay. As you walk in, you find yourself in the corridor of a small castle. It seems to be a lot more luxurious inside than outside. You get the sense that the people that govern this area keep most of the profits. But yeah, the actual woman that just met you, you don't see any sign of, though there is a conspicuous smear of mud in past a corner that is currently being cleaned up by a servant. And another servant meets you at the door. She's wearing sort of like a medieval maid outfit, and you notice that she still has like one pauldron strapped on that she didn't quite figure out how to get off quickly enough. And she ushers you towards a room.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I have the picture here. Objects and tokens, yes.
Real quick, was that a regular defend? Should I pick one from the list?
Oh yes, you are allowed to pick one from the list. It was a defend.
Uh-huh.
If you had not succeeded, Hairpin would have been shot.
Oh no! By a fucking ballista.
Don't know how much that would do to a spaceship, but
Would have been an experience.
yes.
It definitely could have hurt my feelings, which
Yes.
is what matters.
Which is what matters in masks. So
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I think I'll add a team to the pool.
It does 12d6 damage.
So,
Appropriate.
you find yourself in what seems to be a rather luxurious dining hall. Large windows at the side with actual glass. None of the other buildings that you saw had glass. And at the end of the table, sitting, are the woman you saw earlier and a large, muscular man with a very impressive mustache and equally fine clothing, who are sitting next to each other and are holding hands above the table, and they gesture at the table set in front of you, where there is a feast of sorts. It's plates, deep plates filled with water, and wine glasses filled with water, and bowls filled with looks like water. Oh, please have a meal. We normally have. Well, you probably wouldn't like it. We normally have much more normal food. I shouldn't say normal. That's so rude of me. Isn't that so rude, Bertrand? I should not be rude. We normally have people food. But I have done extensive research and I have a feeling for these things. And I just know that this is what you eat. So I've done my best to gather only the finest water from the finest wells in all of my domain. She gestures out the window. And here it is for you, a feast. Please, by all means, dig in, and then I will ask you about my predicament. Our predicament.
Oh, she's so adorable.
Awkwardly pulls chair, sits in chair.
It looks so lovely, lady.
I am the Marchionessa, and my husband, the Marquis. We are the Marquis and Marchionessa of Gwingad. That is the castle where you are.
Oh, okay.
So, like, this is, lifts up bowl, sips water. Very tasty. Do you happen to have any, other, delicacies?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my connection to the divine strong enough to sense everything you desired, but it appears that... Oh, Bertrand, why didn't you tell me? You are much better at these things than normally. Of course. I can have it brought out immediately. Servant, get us some honey!
My lady, we're not divine in nature.
How could you not be with such appearance as you are? I accept that you perhaps are not, but I have long suspected a link between the divine and the more benevolent fae, and I am very happy to be proven right.
Riordan looks to Minnie for like a please help.
I think Minnie gives her a real big grin and like sort of quirks a brow at her and like, are you sure? Do you really want me to step?
Looks at the at this point kind of scary lady and her silent and kind of scary husband. Looks back at Minnie, nods.
Minnie nods back. She pulls off her sunglasses. Her eyes are glowing the same sort of iridescent blue that her hair is all the time. And I think she, steps up out of her seat and sort of adjusts her tie, clears her throat, and looks at the Marchionessa and sort of tries to give her most polite little smile.
Yes, my lady and my lord. I don't know who the hell you think we are, but we are not divine beings. We are certainly not fairies. But we would be happy to help you if you do need our help. I'm sorry, Rhiannon. Most of us are not fairies.
Well, certainly someone as glowing as you must be sent by the divine, if not divine themselves. You appeared as if by providence. You simply must hear me out. I know that you are here for me. You do not need to worry about humility or anything like that. I know that I am very important to the Lord, and my prayers have finally been answered. You must help me. You simply must. No, not that. That is the bad honey. You need to bring out the good honey. Are you daft? Yes, please. Help us.
Honey, if anyone is not sent here by the divine, it is me. Trust me when I tell you this. But like I said, we would be happy to help you. As long as you are we are on a bit of a time constraint. We're looking for some of our friends, and they happen to be in Camelot, we hope. We heard from one of your villagers that Camelot is really far away. So if we can just sort of cut to the chase, we'll scratch your back, you scratch ours, we'll be on our way, and we can find our friends.
Well, if you insist. Camelot is quite far. As I believe, I have always said, one of the kingdom's most important areas. And being as we are on the border protecting all of the kingdom from all of the wretched beings down in the forest, and I know that if I were to recommend you to the Queen, she would be happy to receive you in a couple months when you arrive.
Oh my god.
But it is to the east. I regret to inform you that it might be somewhat difficult to reach at the moment, given that there is a war on. You might have seen that we are bereft of our usual armies. They are all there. I'm certain they will return before soon, victorious, as always. But...
what planet are you at war with?
Planet. We are at war with that wretched Morgana, I believe.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So she did make it back here then.
Oh, she did.
Do we know who that divine beings? Do we know who that is?
I've encountered her once, briefly. I can't say I know what she looks like, but she definitely tried to mess with my head. That seems to be what a lot of fucking people want to do to me, now that I think about it.
Well, now that I have so graciously and in accordance with custom obliged your request, you undoubtedly know all that I want, given that I have detailed it so expertly in all of my prayers. But, as you know, we have a changeling in the house. One of our twin daughters, Alexandria. It is as I have always told you, Bertrand, isn't it? Yes. I knew that she could not have been our daughter from the moment I laid eyes on her. She's utterly nothing like us. She does not respond to anything. She does not look you in the eye. She does nothing but read. What good can that do? I will have you look at her, and I will have you find me my actual daughter, please. My other daughter, the wonderful Siofra, can show you to her. Siofra! And from one of the doors, there's just a large set of double doors that opens. A young girl of about 12, just short blonde hair in sort of like a page cut, and basically a young version of what the Marchionessa is wearing, appears with a very charming smile on her face. Yes, mother? My prayers have been answered. Our prayers have been answered. These fine folk are here to deal with your sister. Could you please show them to the imposter? Yes, mother. Absolutely. If you would follow me, honored guests.
Okay.
Yeah, Rhiannon will start to follow, but like as they leave, I think she's gonna turn back to the. She never actually gave her name, and I don't like Marchesa. Is that how you?
Marchionessa.
Marchionessa. God, I'm never gonna remember it. Why is
It's
it
a
so much longer
title.
than Marquise? Um,
Blame the French.
right? They do that a lot. She turns to the Marchionessa and is just like, "My lady, while I can't know for certain that there are no strings of fate at play, we were not sent here and like by anyone for your needs. However, we will do our best to help." And like she turns and follows Siofra.
Yeah, I think Minnie puts her shades back on. She grabs her glass or goblet of water and just sort of looks over the bridge of her glasses at the marquis and like gives him a sly wink before following her.
Um, so, like, have any idea how to find a changeling?
Well, based off of that description, I'm not like I don't know that she has any basis for believing that it's a changeling. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, she could have described me as a child with that.
Like, it's fair, but what if it is a changeling?
Well, then we'll figure something out.
So what are Martians supposed to look like or act like?
Uh,
uh, th- mm, I have
the last
been. Oh, go ahead.
the last movie I saw that they were very green and very tiny, and they talked with like nyah, 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 kind of like a voice.
Oh
Oh,
my
okay.
god, are you referencing Marvin the Martian or something else?
No,
He's
Mars
not
Attack.
green, but the oh okay. It's like he's oh my god that oh wow that's terrifying. Um, Hairpin, they're not actually Martians.
Sorry,
Martianessa is
Martianesses.
it's just a
It
it's just
seems
a
unnecessarily
title
gendered to me. Like, why can't
I
she just
mean
be a Martian?
that not like Martianessa is a title. It's not actually a race thing or species.
I didn't mean to be racist. Okay, sorry.
No.
I
Rhiannon
think
has no idea how to explain this.
Minnie hooks arms with Hairpin, and as they walk.
No, you hit it on the head. It is unnecessarily gendered. It's a gendered title. This is a gendered fucking society. Feudalism sucks. Most of the people suffer, but we cannot fix feudalism. We can't fix capitalism right now. We can maybe help this little girl and straighten out her mom, and then find our friends. But
That
you're
sounds
right,
great.
and don't let anyone tell you that you're not right.
Oh, that's sweet of you to say.
Rhiannon's just walking behind, like, it's like, well, she wasn't wrong, but they're not Martians.
They're close enough.
Okay. So as you follow Siofra down the hallway, I would like it if we could take a quick break, because I need to pee.
Sure.
Sounds good.
By a break.
Yeah. Yep, sounds good. Mm-hmm. Hey, Lou, you doing okay?
I'm good. I'm chilling.
Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure you weren't just like super holding back and waiting for everyone to talk all the time.
I
'Cause
mean, I am, but I'm having fun.
okay. All right then. Cool.
But why are you?
Hmm?
Why are you super holding back and waiting for everyone to talk? I feel like I'm talking too much, but that's because I don't want like big silences to make Alice more nervous. Because they do that when you're GMing.
That's fair. I have received some criticism for showboating and spotlight stealing, so I'm hyper aware of it, even though I think it's been unfair, but I'm going to respond to it respect.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You're welcome to jump in more in this instance.
Yes. Sandy is a lot less aggressive, and we might need some aggression.
I thought Sandy was the aggressive one.
Sort of. No, actually, no. Grace is the aggressive one.
Grace is the bossy one, but Sandy seems more like I would call Grace passive aggressive, whereas Sandy would be blunt aggressive.
Yes. I
I
think
might be wrong, but
no. My personal opinion with Sandy is Sandy's a boil over kind of aggression.
gotcha. So she'll chill until something turns up the heat.
Yeah. That's my personal opinion of Sandy.